Costantini. I know I'm just fucking messing it up. I curse a lot, sorry. And Darren Foster, come on back. And there's a surprise guest that they're going to talk to you about. You want to do this?
You guys know who's here?
Ah,
You saw him? You saw him? Yeah, from Shenandoah, West Virginia. Shenandoah Junction. Robbie Barrat! We tricked you. He might have checked some of you in today. Earned his keep around here, you know?
Right? It's everything, right?
This is close.
No, it's great, right? So, do you guys really love the movie? I love the movie, right? Okay, let's talk about it. It was really good. See? Like, they're not going to lie to you. They're very clear about that. So I have a couple of questions, and then we're going to open it up to the audience. So please get your questions together. Make them good. And so I have a quick question for you. So, and you talked a little bit about how you guys came together. Like you were a science fair, veteran, alumni.
Nerd.
Yeah, you weren't nerd. Okay, I was trying to be nice. But so talk to me a little bit about like how you found the kids.
So it was, we found them all in very different ways. We wanted to show the range of experience that is at the science fair. So underdogs, long shots, and also the reigning champions. The reigning champions were very easy to find because they're just the people who win all the time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like my favorite part of the movie is that, not one of the favorite parts, that was wrong to say in front of people, is the kid at the beginning. Wasn't that the best? Like his crazy face, like he was so happy. Like that kid, like is he really like that in real life? He's
really like that in real life.
That's him at about a 9.
Yeah,
You see when he's at like 11.
I love him. Like that made me. Sorry, I interrupted you, and I should doing a Q&A and interrupting the person. It's such bad form, but it's about your movie. I loved it. Okay.
So we found Dr. McCullough because she won all the time, or her kids won all the time, and then the underdogs and long shots and misfits, they were a little bit different.
We sort of just like bumped into each other like randomly, and you guys decided to keep me in the film.
We met Robbie at the 2016 fair. So we scouted at the 2016 fair, and we had interviewed hundreds of kids on Skype.
Hundreds?
Like
that's
hundreds.
Okay, that's a lot of dedication right there. Okay.
And so we wanted to, we wanted to tell stories about science, but we wanted to tell human stories. So we looked for these interesting, surprising twists. So we met Kashfia also at the 2016 fair from South Dakota. And the moment we learned that her football coach was her mentor, we're going to South Dakota. So really a range of ways, but
and you ran into Robbie like.
You call him Bobby. You call him
Bobby.
His friends. It's like De Niro. We call him Bobby when we know him very well.
So and talk to me a little bit about how you came across him and how you were like, oh my God, I have to put you in this movie.
Well, I mean,
or did you? I mean,
it was his fashion. It was his fashion that drew us initially. That's true. It's true.
It is true.
You don't find
so
too
like
many.
I'm not messing around.
Yeah, everybody at ISF dresses really like uptight. Like all the kids are wearing like suits and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I was wearing a Hawaiian shirt when we met.
And so, yeah, he was like a 15-year-old kid wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and we started talking to him, and it turned out that he was doing this number theory project that was amazing, and then he was like, but I'm failing math back home. So he's doing this like pure math project, which is like graduate level or beyond, that maybe, a handful of people can follow what he was doing in the entire world. But he was failing algebra at home or whatever it was.
Algebra 2 honors.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Look,
parents got called up to the school. It was a mess.
Yeah,
we had
it was
like, rough there for a while.
Okay, so I didn't have like an F on my report card, but you have to get like a certain grade to get into trigonometry. And
did you make it?
I ended up, we had to have a huge parent-teacher meeting, and it was just so, it was so awful.
But you made it. You got into trigonometry.
Yeah, I got into trigonometry, and it was all good. But in the years after that, my senior year, I decided not to take that teacher again for calculus, and I just would leave school halfway through the day and go to like a nearby university and hang out with the math professors.
Okay, that sounds crazy because if I would leave school and like go to a movie or something. But good for you. Like you go to math class. I'm like, and that's why you will succeed. And I'm here asking questions. So anyway, but I want to ask you one more thing about I don't know about if you guys are. Okay, or something is exploding. What's happening? I'm like this. I'm like, do we have to leave? Because I will let these children go. So talk to me a little bit about the Kanye West thing. I was always curious. You haven't met Kanye West. You don't want to make. Okay, that's
Yes.
not happening.
I have mixed feelings
Okay,
about
all right.
Kanye now.
All right, got it. And then, but so are you still working on that same project? And what are you doing now? Like, can you talk to me a little? I know, right? I know we're gonna talk about you guys, but I'm fascinated about you. But like, what are you doing? Tell me everything right now.
So first off, as for the Kanye project, that's sort of, I've not worked on that in a while. But
Like a while is like a year, like it's 2018.
When you're
Yeah.
19.
Okay, really? I'm like, okay.
Oh, I mean, it's a while. But all the code is online. So I learned how to program and how to do AI stuff through open source, which is just like people put their code online for you to read and to work with. So I put all of my projects online and just like source code, so you can just download it and run it yourself or modify it if you want.
Oh, right on.
But then as for what I'm doing right now, so my work has evolved a little bit. I'm still doing art with AI, but it's gotten a little bit more visual. So
Awesome.
I've been doing like landscape paintings with AI. Then those just turned out like the basic process is you show a neural network a ton of paintings, and then you try to get it to make similar images. So with landscape paintings, this worked really well because landscape paintings are kind of simple. Like you have like ground on the bottom, trees in the middle, and then like sky on the top. So it's easy for it to generate this. But I tried it with nude portraits as well, which
Now there you go.
it's
All right,
a
now we're getting into
it's a-
like
it's a-
landscapes. We're like, okay.
yeah. So landscapes look like everybody else's landscapes, but the nude portraits look very different from everybody else's nude portraits. The neural network doesn't really understand the whole like one head, like two arms, two legs
Oh
things.
wow, it's like okay, like
Yeah.
alien, like HR guy. Okay,
It makes like
got
these
it.
like awful just blobs of flesh.
Really cool.
And it's
Okay,
very,
that sounds sort of like my jam. Okay,
it's
gotcha.
very
okay.
like Francis Bacon-y, but it's like weirder.
Okay, so that is a good like period on that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay, so that's what you're doing, and you're in San Francisco. Where are you?
Well, yeah. So right now I'm working in a research lab at Stanford.
So you failed. Like things are not working out for you.
Well,
like, it's great. I
well.
mean, Stanford. That's a great. I'm just messing with you. That's
No,
fucking
no,
awesome.
no,
Okay,
no, no,
that's Very
well.
good. That's personally, sorry.
So I work at Stanford and I TA there and I've guest lectured there before. So I wanted to go there as an undergrad too, but when I applied there as an undergrad, I wasn't good enough. They rejected me just outright. I didn't even get waitlisted.
Did they see the movie and then they were like, "Oh my god"?
No, I don't think that they've seen the movie. They should have though.
They will. Oh, they will. Oh yes. Okay.
Just
well,
submit it as
cool.
your resume next time.
That's good. So we have lovely Robbie, but like, what about the other kids? Was there some? I'm always curious when you're doing a movie, and especially a documentary. It's hours. I want to talk a bit about like how many hours of footage do you have, and like what was your process of culling together the story? And I'm always curious about, and that's 3 questions, but like I'm always curious about who got left on the editing room floor that you were like, I love this character or this person, but they just didn't fit, and why?
Yeah, so
That's a lot.
hundreds,
I'm like, go for it.
hundreds of hours of footage. I mean,
Hundreds of hours.
hundreds.
Okay.
And there are indeed, we had to cast a wide net, and we didn't know who was going to win or who was going to qualify. So, we had to. There are a lot of kids who we followed around for a long time, who then decided last minute that they're teenagers and they didn't want to do the project. So a lot of kids disqualified themselves. Some of our
So how
favorites.
long was that process? If I'm going to sort of poke in. So when you talk about when you're filming, you went to 2016, and that's when you were scouting, right? It's 2018 now, so you were doing this for about a year.
So
Like just the 2 of you, like following these kids.
So that's right. We had a very small
a lot,
team.
right?
So it was myself, Darren, and a third person, Pete Alton, who's our
So Pete
camera
doesn't get
person.
talked about.
I know. The lovely Pete.
Pete, just
He's-
get the credit for DP.
Yeah, he is like everybody's favorite, right? Everybody loves Pete Alton.
Yeah.
Everybody
Okay,
loves
Robbie
Pete
gets a
Alton.
begrudging. Yeah. All right.
And he is like the the unsung hero of all this, because he has just such a warm, loving energy, and all of the kids react to it. And I think a lot of the joy that you see in the movie is a result of the joy that was on the set, in large part because we were having so much fun. And but yeah, we spent hundreds and hundreds of hours shooting with kids between May of 2016 to May of 2017. And it was a real, the hardest part was definitely, how do you whittle this down? How do you make all of their stories interesting? How do you make all of them resonate? And how do you do all their stories justice? So there's actually a version of this movie that had a 10th child in it.
Oh wow.
That who we lost from the movie very late, because we kept being told that there are too many kids by people
who?
who are screening it.
Who was that kid? Can you talk? I mean, not to put her on blast.
Yeah,
them
sure.
on blast, but
No,
I'm
no,
curious
no.
if
I mean, he's a wonderful
Yeah.
kid, and so, I mean, I'm going to tell you this, and you're like, how do you not include this?
right
in?
there you go.
He
That's
was
for the
a
extras.
14-year-old blacksmith who did recreations as a hobby. So he'd go to like these like reenactments and be the blacksmith. He was 14 years old though, so he was really into like forging metal, and he was half Cherokee. He was just amazing. Homeschooled.
Wow.
So there's actually quite a few homeschool kids at ISF. And so he had, and then at the same time, he was doing the science fair, and Oklahoma decided, in their infinite wisdom, to just slash the budget for science fair because science doesn't matter. And so they slashed the budget, and so basically he was like, "This is my passion in life, science fair, and my state doesn't support science." It was $50,000 in the state budget, but it was too much.
I think it's also important to mention that Intel pulled their funding for the science fair while we were making the movie.
What?
And so we found this out halfway through making it, that the primary funder is no longer, and the science fair is looking to find a replacement. So if you know anybody with millions and millions of dollars who might be interested, let them know.
Well, I think this is going to be a really great calling card for it to keep it going.
We hope
right?
so. Yeah, we hope. I mean, this is definitely a
That's crazy, right?
love letter to that world. So we hope it reminds people of just how important it has been in our national, history of science, and also just what it means to kids.
Yeah,
like
well,
me
it's
and
the
Robbie
future.
and,
Exactly. So you have the kid, the blacksmith who didn't quite make it, right? Is there anybody else that you were like can you talk a little bit about the kids who were like, I'm done with it, like I don't want you following me around,
Mukund Venkata Krishna. Well, there's a boy who we followed to Louisville, who we showed up in Louisville to do his story, and the day before the science fair, he said, "You know what? I have to tell you something.
Tell me.
I didn't do the science fair this year." And so we scrambled and we found Anjali and
he didn't do. He's like, I just wanted you to film me, but like I didn't feel like doing it.
So we showed up. Our whole crew spent not hundreds,
$100.
$100.
Tens of dollars.
Tens of dozens of dollars.
Tens of dollars to make this happen.
And so we got to Louisville, and he revealed that he had not done a science fair project. So that's how we actually met. It was a very happy accident that we met. Harsha and Abraham and Ryan.
Oh, they were great. Okay, those guys were
they are
what
Mukund's
are they
best
doing?
friends, the
Okay.
boy who we were going to follow, and Anjali. We met them all at the same time.
Okay, so I want to ask a little bit. I'm going to pare it back a bit. Oh, sorry. Do you have something to add?
No.
To sort of talk about your production process and finishing it up, and then like the path that it's taken, which is done really well, like festival-wise, and hopefully shortlist. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're going for. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then I'm going to back you up again, and then talk about why you all came together. You already hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, so we made the film, as Cristina said, it was just a love letter to science fair, and we love the film, and as everything we do, we just want us to be we just want to be proud of what we did and do the kids justice, and in this case, and then we applied to Sundance. We made the Sundance deadline September 18th.
So you did it before, and you didn't even have to ask for an extension.
No, we didn't even know you could ask for. We didn't know you could ask for.
Most people, if you guys don't know, everyone's always working up to the very, very last minute.
We didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
we didn't know
this possibility.
We just submitted on without a box.
Good job! You came in cold. Yes.
We had didn't know anyone there. So.
And then someone found the film, and we, much to our surprise, we got into Sundance, and that was like.
And you won the audience award. Then you just didn't get into Sundance. You killed Sundance.
Well, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We weren't in competition. We were in the kids section, and so we were at the kids table, which is the place to be. And then we found out during the festival, I think, that you're actually eligible for one award, which is the audience award, which is the festival favorite award.
You just have to beat 126 movies. And
No, I know. We did. I'm like, I get it. I totally get that. That's why I'm like, you killed it.
But then you don't know until after Sundance. Everyone goes home from Sundance,
and then
20 pounds heavier, right?
Cold,
and 2 days later they called up, and then that just started the whole process of getting into other festivals. So we totally flew in under the radar, and then Sundance yeah, I mean, just like put us on the map. Yeah.
And then National Geographic acquired us after South by Southwest, and that really also changed the game. And they've done so many incredible things.
Well, they're
for
sort
the
of
movie.
like they're very big deals.
And they're amazing. And but they've also made it a real priority to put it in schools, which is something I've always wanted for the movie. And so they signed up. They're giving it to schools for free. So if you know anybody, ScienceFairFilm.com, you can sign up. And it's already in 3,000 schools, and it's just incredible, just the amount of support that they've had to get it in front of the right teachers in schools and those kinds of people. So it's amazing.
But you've been going, I think that's amazing too. But you guys have been going to festival after festival, and you've gone to how many? They told me some ridiculous number that you've been to already, and you.
Yeah, it's like we've been in over 40, and we've been to the majority of those, so a lot. But we're totally new to this world, so it's super exciting.
Because you are, and that's the thing I want to sort of go back to a little bit. And I'm sure they might be giving me the signal I can't see you because I'm facing this way. Just so you know, sorry. But you guys know, they might be like, wrap it up. I'm like, nope. I want to. So you guys are real journalists, right? I'm sorry. I know I'm just going to sound condescending, but like you're real. Like you're like real and that's right. Like, and this is your first film. Right? Like, how crazy is that? And then to come in under the radar and capture our hearts and minds and do well for it's crazy. Can you talk a little bit about? I know that you were science for all that, but how did you let's make a movie?
Yeah, I mean,
first time documentary film.
Yeah, no. So Cristina and I both we share a background as investigative reporters. I've covered a lot. The opioid crisis, immigration, drug wars in Mexico. Comedy, really
so
fun
comedy.
stuff.
You guys are
really
hilarious. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay.
And Cristina too. Christina's like immigration detention, like all these other sunny subjects.
Good stuff.
But we were working on a project together, and it was actually the first project that we worked on together about fentanyl, and when fentanyl sort of moved onto the scene and sort of made the opioid crisis even deadlier than it already had been. And it was in making that we were really sort of just kind of fed up with just the darkness of that world. And Cristina started telling me about this idea that she's been setting out for 13 years, which was the science fair. And I said, that sounds like the antidote to everything, that we've been dealing with. And then, I think the film also, the result of it is sort of an antidote to the times. It's inspiring in a way. It's all the things that
it's uplifting.
It's uplifting.
It's the underdogs.
It's representative of all these amazing kids.
Including you, right?
Don't look at me.
He's all, I'm doing crazy nudes. Okay, got it. All right. And then I'm going to open it up for questions. One of my last questions for you is whenever somebody is making a movie, you have an intention, right? Did your intention when you were making this movie hit what you were looking for?
I mean, I think it is really true to what we wanted to do is capture the joy and the brilliance of these children and make it something that is inspirational and that a lot of people can watch. And so I think I hope we captured that. I think the fact that audiences are responding has been like one of the most rewarding things that's ever happened to me. And so, yeah, it's been such an honor to work with these kids and try to capture their spirit. So, it's been. I think it's pretty true to what we set out to do.
What you're trying to do, and in what you wanted to. Please go. What
I was gonna say. I mean, since I've been to ISEF, that I really do think that the atmosphere that this film sort of portrays as like the atmosphere at ISEF is spot on, just 100%. Yeah, that's really what I was gonna say.
No, that's good. You're like, it's legit. Like, this isn't something.
Yeah. It's not really exaggerated or, like misrepresenting of what's going on at ISEF and like how it feels to be there. I think that maybe at ISEF I was a little bit more stressed out than I feel watching the film. But it's.
You saw yourself on the big screen. You're like, all right, I'm cute. Like,
No,
hey, I like it. Is that what that is? Is that what you're thinking? No,
not at all.
The heartbreak when your loved one moves back to Botswana is real. It's very real.
Oh yeah, happened to me
exactly.
both times at ISEF.
Sorry, so we're just up here gabbing. Do you guys have? And I can't.